Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Take a moment to get seated. Thank you. I am Sarita Sandosham, and I've had the honor of serving on the board of directors for the Center for Victims of Torture for the last 2 years. I am so pleased to welcome all of you here this morning to CVT's 9th annual Restoring Hope Breakfast. Please free to continue to enjoy your breakfast as we start our program. And I'm very grateful that you are all here today, and I want to give a special thanks to our premier sponsor, Integrated Direct Marketing. IDM has demonstrated that business and compassion, business and human rights, and active engagement go hand in hand. Thank you also to our supporting sponsors, Cousin O'Connor, Thomson Reuters, and Crooners Supper Club and Lounge. We are very grateful to our associate sponsors, Alina Health, McDonald Remodeling, and the Medtronic Foundation. Additionally, I want to give a very special thanks to this year's Healing Hand sponsors. Thank you all. So with us today are CVT clients who are so brave in their willingness to share their stories. And as such, I want to reference the CVT's policy that we do not publicly disclose information about torture survivor clients. In our increasingly global and digital world, the risks to loved ones back in their home countries are very real. So for the reasons of safety and medical privacy and deep respect, we ask anyone using social media and members of the media to please keep clients' names, images, and stories confidential. I also want to acknowledge that today we're going to talk about the realities of CVT's work. And some of these stories will and may be difficult for you to hear. And what we would encourage is that everyone in the room take care of yourself in a way that you need to. During the next hour, you will hear about how CVT works to rebuild the lives and restore the hopes of thousands of survivors of torture and war atrocities in our centers in Africa, the Middle East, and the US, and to advance policy advocacy initiatives to end torture. To continue this work, CVT relies on the support of generous donors such as yourselves, and also on the counsel and advocacy of many leaders in the community. One of such leaders is Minneapolis's Mayor Jacob Frey, whose values are centered on fairness, accountability, opportunity, and human rights and dignity in the city he represents and everywhere. So it's my great honor to welcome Mayor Frey.
Thank you, Sarita. It is such an honor to be here for this breakfast for Centers for Victims of Torture. As Sarita mentioned just a second ago, everything we do at the city level, everything we do at the governmental level needs to be centered on compassion and love, and a recognition of the dignity of humanity, and especially of everyone that is experiencing trauma and torture. And the Center for Victims of Torture, they are doing exactly that every single day, helping survivors right here in Minnesota and across the globe, including Ethiopia, Jordan, Kenya, and Uganda. Since established in 1985, you've cared for 33,000 torture survivors, and in the last year alone provided extended rehabilitative care to nearly 22,000 survivors and family members. That is amazing, and it deserves a huge round of applause. An important statistic is that it's estimated that over 50,000 torture survivors and family members live right here in Minnesota. And so we need to be doing our part. We've come to learn that families and communities fleeing terror often become frightened of participating in public life. Their efforts to rebuild themselves and create a new life, it takes time. Survivors often fear public institutions, the police, and the courts. And so we, at the end of the day, want to know that we're doing our part to help in this process, for people to find new homes, to feel safe in their community, and to get involved in civic life. After all, many CVT clients are people who are not afraid to speak out. They are lawyers, teachers, journalists, entrepreneurs, students, politicians, and community leaders. We want to hear their voices every day. It is their voices that make our city, our state, and our country amazing. And in this era of Trump and his reckless administration, cities are emerging as more important leaders than ever. I don't care what's happening at the federal level. I don't care who is the president. We can be doing our part in this city. We want to be an emblem of hope and inclusivity, and hopefully an example for the rest of the country to follow. And as mayor of Minneapolis, it is my duty to make sure that we're ensuring the health and the safety of all of our residents, and to make sure that everyone feels pride in our city, that everyone belongs. But you can't just pay lip service to it. We need to be taking action right now. And that is exactly what CVT is doing every single day. At the city level, we've hired Michelle Rivera to lead our work at the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. She's an excellent addition to our city and has hit the ground running, ensuring that all of us are up to date on federal immigration developments and the actions we can take, and we're positioning residents to protect and defend their rights. We've hired a senior advisor on human trafficking prevention in Minneapolis, Shunu Sretza. She's been instrumental in labor trafficking cases and a practice that unfortunately targets a lot of people new to our country, struggling through language and cultural barriers and being exploited. We're providing resources, in fact, $40,000 a year for legal services for immigrant and refugee residents, impacting the ability of families to reach rapid results in crisis situations. We worked to the funding from the U.S. Department of Justice to hire an additional victim witness specialist, assisting more survivors and providing outreach into our Spanish-speaking communities. We're also ensuring there is more shelter available. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. We do have a crisis right now in our city of affordable housing and specifically homelessness. I think we need to start from the place of recognition that housing is a right. Everyone should have that safe place to go home to at the end of the night, rest their head on the pillow, and rejuvenate for the next day. And if a single person has to sleep under a bridge, we at the city of Minneapolis need to step up. We as a community need to step up to recognize that importance of compassion and dignity. Right now, we have a whole lot of work to do, but I know that we can count CVT a tremendous partner in that work. You know, good things are happening, by the way. Just yesterday, we installed placards in all of our MPD vehicles in multiple languages. This is in their squad cars, ensuring that everyone knows and understands their rights when interacting with law enforcement. This makes sure that it's not just English speakers that understand their rights. Everybody should, because at the end of the day, everyone should be protected. And finally, we're working with a broad spectrum of partners to implement a Minneapolis ID card program, providing our refugee and immigrant communities with a ton of benefits, including protections and interactions, and making sure that they're able to open bank accounts as well. There's quite a bit of work still to do, and we're working through the difficulties, but I'm confident that we can get there. And so, although we're proud of the work that we're moving right now at the city, we know that there's always more to be done, more ideas, more solutions. CVT is at the center of all of this work. Now more than ever, we need to be standing up for our new Americans, for our immigrants, for our refugees. So CVT is such a critical part in all of that. And as you think about donating today, please donate generously. This work is critical, and please count Minneapolis as a partner for the long haul. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you for your contributions, and I look forward to working with you.